Guess that'll help. Shalom, 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 my brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another end of the week Sabbath class. I'm your brother Ananias.
Brother Ezekiel.
And we are A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. And as always, it's an honor, it's a privilege to come before you each and every week to give you another uplifting and edifying class with hopes and regards of teaching you something that you did not know yesterday so that you could build upon it and help your family, help yourself, and help your nation of people. But before we get started, as always, we want to make sure that we give all honor, glory, praise to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being his Son, who the world calls Christ in the Paleo-Hebrew. And through his strength, sacrifice, and example, we are all able to be here today to be uplifted and edified in the spirit. So we appreciate you, brothers and sisters, tuning in week and week out, and those who will tune in, Lord willing. You know, we appreciate you all, and we just want to make sure that we thank you for tuning in, because you could have been doing anything else, you know, watching TV, playing on your phone, you know, out breaking the Sabbath, but you dialed in to learn more about the Lord, about the scriptures. So we appreciate you all for tuning in. And as always, each and every week, we also take time out to make sure that our brothers and sisters understand the importance of doing what? Praying for our nation of people. You got to remember to pray for the nation of Israel on a daily basis. Pray for your brothers and sisters. Don't just pray for yourself, for the things that you want, but pray for the restoring of your nation of people. Pray for the healing of your brothers and sisters. For brothers and sisters to wake the hell up in these last days, you know what I'm saying? For them to finally realize who they are and what they're supposed to be doing and start keeping the commandments of the Most High God. To turn away and from the wickedness of this world and repent. Pray for your brothers and sisters. Why? Because in these last days, it's going to become more trying, more chaotic, more destructive, more death is going to be upon the earth. More confusion, more hatred. So you got to pray to the Lord for peace. You got to pray to the Lord for understanding, discernment. Pray that your brothers and sisters learn to love one another rather than fighting and killing one another, you know, and falling into mischief. So this is why we got to take time out week in and week out, brothers and sisters, to remember to pray daily for our nation of people. You know, we can't do it enough. You know, pray to the Most High for our nation, Israel. All right. Well, once again, we welcome you all into another class. And today's class is going to be dealing with fear. It's not an emotion, but a control mechanism. Contrary to most beliefs, fear is not just an emotion, but a control mechanism, a way of controlling people. And that's what we're actually going to go into today, dealing with how fear affects us on a day-to-day basis, how the governments use fear to control us, how our enemies use fear to oppress us and control us. Also, how we should be fearing the Most High and how that will actually benefit us as a nation of people. So today's class is called Fear. It's not an emotion, but a control mechanism. All right. So we're going to start off by defining what the word fear actually is. All right. It says fear is an emotion that arises in response to a perceived threat or danger, whether real or imagined. Now, that is the definition that Esau gives. They put it out there as if it is an emotion that arises in response to a perceived threat or danger, whether real or imagined. It says it's also, bear with me. Yeah. It says it is adaptive. Bear with me. Let me put this on the screen. All right. So it says that fear is an emotion that arises in response to perceived threat or danger, whether real or imagined. It is adaptive. Let me blow it up a little bit more. It is adaptive In evolutionary terms, fear helps organisms detect danger. You'll have your certain animals, they have instinctive reflexes when danger approaches. Just like a fish, when you catch certain fish, they'll have the fins to spike up when you try to grab it or whatnot. That's an instinctive reaction to some type of fear. All right. Says in the brain, the amygdala plays a central role in detecting threats, activating stress hormones, adrenaline, cortisol, and triggering the atomic nervous system, and accelerates the heartbeat, respiration, blood diversion, and muscles. But this is getting on beyond the point. What we want to get into is, bear with me, how fear is an emotion, but it's a control mechanism. You got let me blow this up best I can. Fear can also be linked to false evidence appearing to be real. These are different acronyms. All right. False expectations about reality. Some people will have an imaginative mindset of what they think life is. So they try to chase after it, like what we see in the movies. You have fleshly emotions against righteousness. These are the emotions that drive you to steer you away from keeping the commandments. You have another acronym for fear is to forsake evil and rejoice. That's what we're going to get into. Turning away from evil, and freedom exists after repentance. All right. Well, that freedom that we all seek comes after repentance. Repentance meaning turning away from breaking the Most High's commandments. All right. So once again, today's class is going to be dealing with fear, how it's not just an emotion, but a control mechanism on how it actually controls us as a people. All right. Fear is a natural thing that perceives danger. It activates a fight or flight mentality, and it separates us from the trust of the Most High. Separates us because when we have fear, we tend to turn away from keeping the commandments. For instance, like keeping the Sabbath. Sometimes we'll have fear of doing that and fear of losing a job. So we'll break that to keep the job, break the Sabbath, not fearing the Lord, but fearing the punishment of man. And we'll go break the Sabbath to try to keep a job, not knowing that that job is oppressive, it's oppression. And it caused us to break the commandments. And the reason that we have to even be in a situation like that is because we rebelled against the Lord. So thinking on that nature, it would become a snare or a problem to us. Let's get Proverbs chapter 29, verse 25 right quick. Let me put this on the screen. Give me Proverbs chapter 29, verse 25.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 25. The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe.
Read that one more time.
All right. Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 25. The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whosoever putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe.
So the fear of man bringeth a snare. A snare is a trap. Just like that cheese on the trap and that mouse see that cheese, he trying to go get that cheese, not knowing that it's a trap right there. So that's the same thing that fear bringeth to a man, especially to the Israelites. The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whosoever put his trust in the Lord shall be saved. A lot of us, we fear how man views us, how a man judges us, rather than how the Most High views us. So we'll tend to make our decisions based on how somebody gonna respect us, how they gonna view us, will we be liked? That's how we make our decisions. But the Lord is telling us the fear of man gonna bring a snare. That's gonna be a trap to you, because you ultimately fake breaking. You trying to play one hand or play one face to the Lord, and then try to play another face or another card to man. That's fake breaking, and that's going to become a snare to you. But whosoever put his trust in the Lord shall be saved. When you trust in the Lord and you go wholeheartedly into serving the Lord, you ain't got nothing to worry about. You doing exactly what your Creator told you to do. Therefore, He gonna make sure that you straight. But a lot of us, we have a lot of fear built up in us. False evidence appearing to be real, thinking that we have to appease these other nations or please our own people. We should be seeking to do the things that please the Lord, not to please man. Because when we try our damnedest to please man, we end up failing man. That's why the Lord say, put no trust in a man. Put no trust in man. Understand that, brothers and sisters. Give me Sirach chapter 34, verse 14. We have to take this into consideration whenever we do anything in life. We should not be living a life trying to please man, because man is not going to understand nor value the things that you do for him the way that it should be valued. But the Lord see all things, and He tallying it up. You storing up that treasure toward the Lord, toward the kingdom, when you do thus saith the Lord. But when you just trying to appease man or woman, hey, you're going to fail every time, because they can never be satisfied. They're going to always want more. And then you're going to have that feeling like I can't do enough. So you should always strive to do thus saith the Lord. He made it simple and plain for you to do. That's what we should be striving to do. But give me that in Sirach right quick. Sirach 34:14.
Book of Sirach, chapter 34, verse 14. Whoso fears the Lord shall not fear nor be afraid, for he is his hope.
Whosoever feareth the Lord shall not be afraid. A lot of brothers and sisters walking around scary as hell, paranoid, don't know what to do. They fearing the outcome of man, how man gonna view him. Man don't even know what the hell he gonna be doing a week from now. But we fearing man. The Lord set up everything. He put the sun and the moon and the stars in the sky. No man can do that. But yet and still we fearing what somebody down the street gonna say, what somebody at school gonna say, what somebody at work gonna say. They ain't guaranteed to wake up tomorrow. But we fearing they outlook. Fear, it's a control mechanism. Whosoever feareth the Lord shall not fear nor be afraid, for He is his hope. For the Lord is our hope. Read on down to 16.
Yes, sir. Verse 14.
15.
Yes, sir. Verse 15. Blessed is the soul of him that feareth the Lord, to whom doth he look, and who is his strength.
Blessed is the soul that look toward the Lord. Read on.
Verse 16. For the eyes of the Lord are upon them that love him. He is their mighty protection and strong stay, a defense from heat and a cover from the sun at noon, a
See that?
preservation from the
You see
storm.
it? It said that the eyes of the Lord are upon them who love him. The only way that you can show the Lord that you love him is to keep his commandments. He don't want to hear nothing else. He don't care about your excuses. Oh, my back hurt, my feet hurt. He don't care about that. He know that already. He want to see if you're going to get out there and put that work in regardless. If you're going to get up in the morning and pray to him and thank him for waking you up. Or are you more worried about a homework assignment? Or are you more more concerned about getting to work? For the eyes of the Lord are upon them that love him. He is their mighty protection and strong state. Your job, your friends that you work with, that you go to school with, they ain't concerned about your protection. If you don't show up to work, they ain't blowing your phone up. They don't care. While we rushing trying to get to work, they don't care. While we stressing about a test at school, they don't care. If you don't show up, they're not going to lose sleep. They're not going to stop teaching the class or running their business. They're going to keep pushing. The eyes of the Lord are upon them that love him, though. He is their mighty protection, meaning he is the one that's protecting us day in and day out. But we fail to understand that. We are distracted by foolish devices, cell phones, TVs, and video games. These are the things that rule us, control us, take away our time and attention. You know? Read on, King.
All right.
Read 16 one more time.
All right. For the eye of the Lord are upon them that love him. He is their mighty protection and strong stay, a defense from heat, and a cover from the sun at noon, a preservation from the stumbling, and an help from the fall from falling.
So he is a preservation from stumbling and from falling. The Lord is there to keep you from falling, stumbling. All you got to do is keep his commandments, follow his guidelines, follow the path that he has laid before you, and you will not fall. Neither will you stumble. But because we fear man, we stumbling left and right. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to get into a few more things here in a minute. Go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17, verse 12, right quick.
Right.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17, verse 12. And remember, brothers and sisters, to take notes and read along and follow along. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17, verse 12. We were talking about what is fear earlier, and what is fear? He was talking about how it is an emotion that arises in response to a perceived threat or danger. But let's see what the Bible says fear actually is. Bring it out, King.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17, verse 12. For fear is nothing else but a betraying of the suckers, which reason offering.
So it goes into that saying that I use quite a bit. A lack of knowledge is what fear is, a lack of understanding. For fear is nothing else but a betraying of the succor secures, meaning your securities, your thoughts, which reason offereth. Which reason offereth. So when you thought something was supposed to go some way, but you don't know, and it goes the opposite way, that creates fear. Or when you don't know something, that creates fear. All right. So fear, like we said in the title, is, let me see, a control mechanism. Now we're gonna go into a few things on how the governments, how these other nations, how society actually uses fear to control the masses, especially the Israelites. All right. Let me see. Let me get this off the screen. All right. For example, fear has always been used to control people physically, mentally, and spiritually. And we got a lot of different things, tactics that have been used throughout history to control the masses. We're not going to go through all of them, but we're going to pull up a few of them. All right. One being, we're going to deal with some of them that deal with us as a nation of people. For example, COINTELPRO, that's targeting Black Israelite leaders and truth speakers. Not necessarily, I'm going to say, Israelite, because the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of.
Right.
So this program or this tactic was used to target our leaders, whether it was dealing with Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, you know what I'm saying? Our leaders today in this truth movement, to target them, to use slanderous speech tried to slander their character and their name.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Another one was War on Terror, the Patriot Act. This is something that came about right after 9/11. This was an act that they used to bring about the Big Brother Act or the Patriot Act, where they were able to use surveillance from everywhere to damn near spy on us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they used 9/11 once again, and they used it and used the media to spin off to the people how the Taliban or the Arabs were terrorists. And by them using their media, everybody had a mindset where whenever they seen a Arab man or anybody with a turban on, they felt that they had the mindset to get ready to blow something up. You know. So behind that, they created the Patriot Act. And it was mass surveillance through fear, controlling the masses. This is why your cell phones is always listening to you. You might be talking to your partner or your family member and open your phone up, and the phone is showing you things relating to the topic that you were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Another one would be the war on drugs that was going on during the 80s. This was a fear-based policy that destroyed a lot of black families. During the 80s, that's what they would call the crack epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
When they were putting crack cocaine in our neighborhoods. You know, giving it to our people, giving them money to spread that drug or that disease throughout our neighborhoods, destroying our families. You know, and that was used to control the masses, control our people. All right. Now I'm gonna get into some things that's a little further back in history that a lot of us really don't know about. All right. For instance, back during the Greek and Roman times, you had a thing called the brazen bull, as you can see on the screen right here. This is something that people do not talk about, and it is not discussed at all. But it is one of the most brutal fear tactics that these other nations have used throughout history, especially against us as a nation of people. And right here is what you would see is an example or a model of the brazen bull that was used during the Greek and Roman times. This was actually used before Christ hit the scene and after he hit the scene. Now, in this image, they made matter of fact, let me bring this out right quick. The brazen bull, it was a bronze bull, which was said to be invented in Sicily around the 6th century BC. So that's before Christ. It was a hollow brass or bronze statue shaped like a bull with a door on one side. Victims were locked inside and a fire was lit beneath so that the metal grew hot, roasting the person inside alive. All right. Roasting the person that was inside alive. All right. The purpose was to instill fear and demonstrate absolute power through both a agonizing death and theatrical public spectacle. So this was something that was done in the public to instill fear to the society or to the masses of the people. All right, I'm gonna show you a quick video right quick, just to show you in an example of what was going on.
Because the metal acts as a sound barrier. Sound waves can't travel through material. Because the metal acts as a sound barrier. Sound waves can't travel through material as dense as metal. However, if the fire superheats the air inside the brazen bull, a victim might struggle to reach the tube built inside the bull's head. The victim could siphon fresh air out of the tube and then exhale while screaming.
I would imagine inside the bronze bowl, if there was only one spot for him to breathe in as he's screaming back out again, it must have sounded something like this.
Ancient texts describe how the tyrant Phalaris wanted to test the bull's musical properties. So he commanded the artist who built the bull to climb inside and scream like someone being burned. But in a moment of fiendish trickery, the tyrant locked the trap door and lit the fire beneath. The machine worked as promised. The artist was the brazen bull's first victim.
Serves him right. But that was a tactic used back in the day, brothers and sisters, to do what? Create a mass hysteria, create fear among the people, to show absolute dominance or superiority. All right. Like I said, the purpose was to instill fear and demonstrate power through both a slow, agonizing death and a theatrical public spectacle. So this was a tactic called the brazen bull. All right. Moving on. I'm going to give you an example of something similar to that, because as the scriptures say, there's nothing new under the sun. What we just seen in that brazen bull, that was nothing different than what actually is written in the scriptures. Let's go to the book of Daniel, chapter 3, right quick. Book of Daniel, chapter 3, right quick. Showing you how fear can be used as a control mechanism. All right. Give me Daniel chapter 3, starting at verse 1.
All right. The book of Daniel, chapter 3, going verse 1.
Let me see. Start at verse 3.
The book of Daniel, chapter 3, and verse 3. Then the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up, and they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up.
Read.
Verse 4. Then an herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages.
You know, the herald is like somebody that you would see in an old medieval movie who would come out and blow the trumpet, letting you know that the king is coming, and be like, oh, the king is come. So that would be who a herald is. So then a herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages. Read.
Yes, sir.
Verse 5.
Then, verse 5. That at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery,
Dulcimer,
and all kind of the music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up.
So it was a decree being put in place saying, whenever you hear this music sound off, you are commanded to fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, has set up. All right, read.
Verse 6. And whosoever falleth not down and worship shall the same hour be cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
Shall be what?
Shall be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
Just like that brazen bull. But go ahead.
Verse 7. Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshiped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up.
Just like today, a lot of our brothers and sisters, when we hear that national anthem, or that Pledge of Allegiance song, we stand up immediately, put our hand over our heart, or we take our hats off and put it over our hearts, and we worship that flag. We pledge allegiance to that flag. The same way they were forcing our brothers to bow down to this image. But read on.
Verse 8. Wherefore, at the time a certain Chaldeans came near the Jews,
And did what?
and accused the Jews.
So it was some people of another nation that came and seen some brothers that was not bowing down to this image. Read.
Verse 9. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, have made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and how you pronounce that? You said
Dulcimer.
dulcimer, and all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whosoever falleth not down and worship, that he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace.
So what were they trying to instill right there? Fear. To bow down to this image. If you did not bow down to it, you would be put to death, burned alive in a fiery furnace. Trying to instill fear to control the masses. Read.
Verse 12. There are certain Jews who thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set upon. Which thou hast set up.
These brothers were keeping the commandments. The first commandment that the Lord gave us was to have no other gods before him. Don't bow down nor worship them. These brothers was keeping that commandment right there. Just as we brought out earlier, trust in the Lord, and we should be he should be a shield to us. He should be our protection from that heat during the day. You know. Read.
Verse
13.
13.
Yeah.
Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king.
Read.
Verse 14. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, It is true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up?
Read.
Verse 15. Now, if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands?
So he asking him, what God gonna deliver you out of my hands? I told you, I told everybody. When the music go off, you are to bow down and worship this image that I created. Worship it. Read.
Verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter.
We don't know how to answer it. We ain't gonna speak rough. We ain't gonna speak out of turn concerning this matter. Read.
Verse 17. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king.
It said, if it be so, meaning Lord's will, our God will serve, we serve, meaning the God that we serve, he is able to deliver us, if it be his will, from this burning fiery furnace. And he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. Read.
But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up.
He said, regardless, we still ain't gonna serve your gods that you done made. We're not gonna bow down and worship it. Now, these is three brothers who are adamant about keeping the commandments. They 10 toes down about keeping these commandments. It ain't no turning these brothers. They already know what they up against. They ain't turning. They ain't bending. They ain't breaking to bow down and serve no damn gods, especially none that man created. Why? Because they were taught to keep the commandments. They say, hey, the Lord can deliver us if it be his will from your fiery furnace. But even if he don't think that we gonna turn around and bow down and serve and worship your golden image that you set up. Read.
Basically, they saying we'll die before we do that.
Right. That's how we got to be as a people. I'm not breaking the Sabbath. I don't give a damn what they say. I don't give a damn how much money I need or what's going on or what they need me. No, I'm not doing it. Read.
Verse 19. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
That visage is talking about his face. But go ahead.
Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated.
So because these brothers spoke boldly, it pissed the king off. Who they think they talking to? I'm Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. I do what I want. Who they think they talking to? I told them to bow down, and they telling me they gonna serve their God and not mine. So he got pissed off. He was full of fury, and he told them to heat the furnace up 7 times more than it normally would be heated. Read.
All right. Verse 20. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fire. Into the burning fiery furnace.
Tie them Negroes up, put them in the fire. Read. We gonna make an example out of these dudes. Go ahead.
Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace.
Cast into the furnace, cast into the oven. Read.
All right. Verse 24. Therefore, because the king commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
You see that the king trying to be vindictive. He trying to be an ass. You know, trying to turn the heat up further than it's ever been turned up. End up getting the men killed who put them in that fire. Read.
And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then
Read.
Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He
So
answered,
notice that it said, then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished and rose up in haste and spake unto the counselors. So this was not a private matter. This was a public spectacle, just like that brazen bull. This was done in public. His counselors, the princes were there, the sheriffs were there. This was a public spectacle to create fear. Read on.
Verse 25. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God.
It's like what?
Is like the Son of God.
So that was your house shot walking around in there with them brothers. Read.
Verse 26. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire.
So The king looking at that like, man, I know I put 3 people in there. I see 4 people walking around in there. So he called them out of there. They walked straight up out the fire. Read. He's going to show you right here that it was a spectacle, a public spectacle. Read.
Verse 27. And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors being gathered together saw these men, upon whose body the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their head singed. Neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them.
Can't believe it. These brothers came out from the midst of the hottest fire that this furnace has ever seen, and they ain't even got the smell of smoke on them. They ain't got a singe or nothing on their clothes. Nothing. Come on now. Read on.
Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who have sent his angel and delivered his servants that trust in him, and have changed the king's word and yielded their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any God except their own God.
You see that? Now that goes right back to what we were reading earlier in Sirach 34 and 14, when it was saying, whosoever feareth the Lord shall not be afraid. Them brothers were not afraid because they knew who was in control. They knew that the Most High God was our God and our God alone. And they knew keeping his commandments was the way to go. They still stood 10 toes down on it. And the Lord protected them. We today have to have that same mindset at all times. It can't be when we feel like it or when we up. We winning right now. No, we got to have that mindset at all times. That shows us to be on a whole nother level of understanding when we stand like these brothers. See that? So because they stood so boldly, Nebuchadnezzar said, blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He hath turned the sinner now into a believer. Now he giving commandment. Matter of fact, we're going to read that. Read 29, King.
Verse 29. Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their house shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort.
You see that? He said, if anybody speak anything against their God, they're going to be cut in pieces. They didn't go up there and cuss the king out. They didn't put hands on the king. They trusted in the Lord and they stood still and watched the salvation of the Lord. The same way we did when we came out of Egypt, when we were with Moses, with our back against the wall, standing at the Red Sea, and the Egyptians were chasing after us.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't buckle. They didn't bend. They didn't break. They stood 10 toes down. As they say in the young, with these young bucks, stood on business. Stood 10 toes down for the Lord. And at the end of the day, they were released. The king made a decree, meaning he put a law in place saying if anybody speak wrong about their God, they're going to be cut in pieces. And their houses shall be made a dunghill, meaning a shit hill. They're going to be destroyed. Excuse my language. And he said, because there is no other God that can deliver after this. Read verse 30.
Verse 30. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the provinces of Babylon.
You see what happened right there? He said the king promoted them. He didn't take away. He promoted them because they stood 10 toes down. That's what a lot of us, we got the wrong mindset. We thinking about being demoted for standing on commandments of the Lord. We thinking we going to be punished. The Lord is putting you through a test the same way he put them brothers through a test to see if they going to do thus saith the Lord. And at the end of the day, they were promoted. Promoted. So we got to get that fear out of our minds, brothers and sisters. The Lord did not give us a spirit of fear. We're going to go over that as well. All right. So another scare or fearful tactic that was done to us was another one that was done during the 1400s and the 1600s. It was called auto-da-fe. This is a picture of what they was actually doing. Auto-da-fe was a public ceremony, a ritual of the Spanish and Portuguese Inquisitions, where the sentences of the condemned were announced in public. It involved a public procession of prisoners, a reading of charges and sentences, and often ended with punishments, including execution by burning. The Inquisition was created largely to hunt Israelites down. Why? Because laws were put into place so that we would not follow after the commandments of the Lord. All right. So because of these tactics, like the auto-da-fe, we ran the risk of fear of exposure, psychological warfare, and even the erasing of our identity. All right. And I'm going to show you something in the Bible that was similar to that. But this was something that was done during the Spanish and Portuguese rule during the 14 and 1600s, where Isabella and Ferdinand were actually in rulership, and they passed a decree, just like Nebuchadnezzar did, a law, that we had to turn away from our laws, the laws of our forefathers, to follow after the ways or the customs of the heathens, which mean that they didn't want us to keep the Sabbath. They didn't want us to eat clean foods. They didn't want us to dress the appropriate way. They didn't want us circumcising our children, following the commandments of the Lord. So when they did these auto-da-fe's or these public burnings, you had different people running around town or neighbors who were encouraged, meaning of the other nations, to spy and to report anyone who didn't eat pork, who rested on Saturday, meaning the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Who kept the commandments. All right. And the fear of this created a culture of paranoia, which destroyed the community, unity of the Israelites. All right. Also, these public executions terrified the population, the people. Families were disgraced, properties were seized, and children were shamed. It sent a message saying, you may think of God as the God of Israel in private, but Rome owns your body and your faith. You see that?
Did you say that they was having people report the people who were keeping the commandment or not eating pork?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And that reminds me of how right now they having people call and report on the Hispanics, calling ICE, reporting the Hispanic.
Right.
You know,
That's exactly what's going on.
right?
Just as the scripture say.
Nothing.
Go ahead. Say it again, King.
I said there's nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new under the sun. Just as the brother was talking about. And put it out there. You can call and tip the line to report suspicious activity or other criminal violation. Call ICE. You see that? You don't think they were doing that back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
To get them some type of social status, get them some money to pay their bills,
Mm-hmm.
to get them a position in society? Yes, they were doing that. All right. So going back, that was a method, a scare tactic that was used to do what? Detour our brothers and sisters.
Hey, And again, one more thing right there before you move on. If you look at like the Kaepernick situation, Kaepernick kneeled during the national anthem because he wanted to protest police brutality. And what they did to instill fear in the rest of the league, they blackballed that brother. As good as he was, nobody picked him up to play for him. So what's that saying to the rest of the players? Y'all but don't think about kneeling. Cause just like we blackballed him and got him put out the league, we'll do the same thing to y'all. And now them brothers thinking, I need my money. I can't kneel like Kaepernick. So they instill fear through the rest of the players by blackballing that guy. So that one they number one tactics is fear. But you got we can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Yeah, but that's just going into another scare tactic that was used to control the masses. Like I said before, it was a control mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of our brothers and sisters were converted during that process, during that time frame, and took on Catholic names. They ate forbidden foods, and they, by doing so, they by default they renounced a lot of the Hebrew customs. All right. So I'm gonna show you in the scriptures how that actually took place. Let's go to the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 41. The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 41.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
All should be one people, just like America. That's their mindset. Everybody's one people. We all Americans. We all different races, but when we come over here, we all one people. That's the mindset. Read.
And everyone should leave his laws, so all the heathen agree according to the commandment of the king.
All the heathen agree, meaning those outside of the nation of Israel and the other nations outside the nation of Israel are considered to be heathens. So they agreed to this commandment. Read.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath.
Yea, and even a lot of our own brothers and sisters consented to this madness, to this wickedness, to this folly. They say, oh, it ain't no problem. Cool, I can do it. Read. In fear of what might happen to him. Read.
For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land,
So once again, a decree, laws were put in place. Read.
and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offering in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbath and festival days.
So it was telling these people, telling our brothers and sisters, hey, the hell with your burnt offerings. Ain't no more sacrificing to the Lord. We don't want to see your drink offerings in the temple no more. I don't want to see you keeping the Sabbath or the feast days. Read.
And pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
And to pollute the sanctuary and the holy people. Read.
Verse 47, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts.
You see that they wanted us to set up groves, meaning idols, stands or altars to other idols, to other gods, and offer up swine's flesh, which the Lord said is unclean. Read.
That they should also leave their children uncircumcised, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profaneness and
You see that? Profanation.
profanation.
So that we would do what? Read 49.
Verse 49, to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances.
Read.
And whosoever will not do according to the commandment of the king, he said, he should die.
You see that? That was fear being instilled in our brothers and sisters. All the way back to the Greek times and before then. So these different scare or fear tactics that are being used to control the masses or control our people, it's nothing new, brothers and sisters. But once again, as 2 Timothy said, the Lord ain't give us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and understanding, of a sound mind. Salak.
Yes,
But
sir.
these folks were putting laws in place so that we would go against the commandments, that we might forget the law and change the ordinances. That's why we don't know nothing about the commandments today. He said, make us, where is it? Yeah, 48. That they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable to the Lord with all manner of uncleanliness. That's why you see our people today eating all the type of abominable food, celebrating abominable feast days, dressing all out of order, doing everything out of order, being abominable in the sight of the Lord because of these laws that were put in place, and our people being full of fear, being controlled and made to do these things. Wicked as hell. And if we didn't do it, we would be put to death. See that? Another thing that they did to us. This was done during our stay, not our stay, but let me see. This was actually done during the biblical times, but also during the medieval times as well, what they would call the putting heads on sticks. All right. The purpose of placing heads on stick was primarily to act as a public deterrent to warn against committing similar crimes or acts of rebellion, or display of power and victory over after a conflict. So you can either have your enemies' heads on sticks to show what we did to them, or have these sticks on, or these heads on sticks outside of a town or a city to warn off anybody who's trying to come in that way, to show them this is what this may happen to you if you come in here moving in the wrong spirit. Scare tactics.
Mm-hmm.
See that? Fear is a control mechanism. These are the things that they use and put on the news every day. That's why a lot of people stop watching the news. I don't like watching the news. Every time I turn it on, I see something I don't want to see. You see death every day. Destruction every day. You see the Lord bringing judgment every day on the news. And a lot of people don't want to adhere to that. They don't want to accept it. They don't want to see it. But it's going on. And what they actually put on the TV does what? Scare a lot of folks.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that. And another thing that was used against us, moving on forward on up through time, was on the plantation. What you see right here. This is where they would, let me find it, rip a brother in half in front of everybody, making him, once again, a public spectacle in front of everybody. Tying a brother to 4 different horses and whipping the horse to pull this brother apart. All right. This was something that was taught and done through the Willie Lynch letter. If I can find it. All right. This is one of the pages out their book. This is it said, when it comes to breaking the uncivilized nigger, use the same process by vary in the degree and step up the pressure so that it does as to do a complete reversal of the mind. All right. As to do a complete reversal of the mind. So keep in mind that in society, not society, in nature, the male is always looked to as a sign of strength and protection. It doesn't matter what species you look at. You look at lions, tigers, dogs, whatever, mankind. The male is always considered to be the stronger and supposed to be the protector and the dominant one. But Esau, so-called white man, he said when it comes to breaking us down, use the same process, but vary in a degree to step up the pressure so as it is to do a complete reversal of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what that tactic was. It says take the meanest. Hold on. Get this off screen. It says take the meanest restless nigga, strip him of his clothes in front of the remaining male niggas, the female, the Negro infant, tar and feather him, tie each leg to a different horse in opposite directions, set him fire and beat both horses to pull him apart in front of the remaining Negroes. The next step is to take a bullwhip and beat the remaining Negro male to the point of death in front of the female and the infant. Don't kill him, but put the fear of God in him, for he can be useful for future breeding. So you take the brother from the plantation that has the most respect, who's the biggest, who's the meanest, who people fear and respect, and you make an example out of him in front of everybody. They said they would tar and feather him. Tie him to two different horses and whip the horse to rip him apart. And then turn around and beat him again. Think about this. What would they actually be doing during that process? Think about that. What would they actually be doing during that process? Destroying the male image, the black or the Israelite male image, showing that at that particular time he could not protect himself. So if they doing that in front of the woman, guess what? She no longer trusts in the male. His image is destroyed. She now looks to the oppressor for power, for strength, saying, you can't protect yourself. I'm going to look toward master. I'm going to look toward the oppressor to take care of me. And that goes back to what we were reading earlier. Up above, it says to do a complete reversal of the mind. And that's how deep it goes. A scare tactic.
Hey, brother. And
Go ahead, King.
also, what they did, they would get the pregnant females and make them watch stuff like that. And by them being pregnant, they said that would transfer that same fear into the unborn child that was inside of her stomach.
That's right. You right.
Well, they were
If I can get it over there, let me see. I can do that right quick. Where is it at? Yeah. Says fear also interacts with memory, attention, and learning. For instance, fearful stimuli are better remembered to avoid them later, and attention is tuned toward threat cues. Just like the brother said, you go through certain levels of trauma, you can actually pass that down. And that's exactly what was going on, and Esau knew that. Dealing with our people. So moving on forward, there were other scare tactics used. Just like the heads on a stick, you would actually see trees full of our brothers and sisters hanging from these trees. Public spectacles. Once again, the purpose of public lynchings was to use racial terror and intimidation to enforce white supremacy and maintain a system of racial hierarchy. Public lynchings were not about justice, but about social and political control, as we said beforehand. Fear is not an emotion, but a control mechanism. Understand that, brothers and sisters. Seeing this in cities and towns, different states, all around the world, especially over here in Babylon the Great, or America as you know it, this was used not as justice, but about social and political control, often based on false or exaggerated accusations against Black people. Intimidation and terrorism, lynchings were violent public spectacles designed to terrorize the Black community into subordination to control them. The explicit message was that Black people could be killed at any time for any reason with impunity. Meaning you can be killed at any given time for no reason at all, and the people that did it would get off scot-free. Give me that in Deuteronomy chapter 28, King. Deuteronomy chapter 28. That's a curse put upon us as a nation of people, where our life will be in doubt, hanging in doubt. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 66. Now I start at 65.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 65. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind.
See that? Among these other nations that we were scattered among, brothers and sisters, the Lord said we ain't gonna find no ease there. It ain't gonna be no peace. You're gonna constantly be working. Your soles of your feet ain't gonna have no rest. But among these other nations, you're gonna have a trembling heart, failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. Depression right there. Read.
And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt
And
fear,
what?
and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have no assurance of thy life.
No assurance of thy life. Thy life shall hang in doubt, hanging in doubt, and shall have none assurance of thy life. These are some of the scare tactics that they use to control us, to be subordinate. That's why we so quick to forgive them today, fight for them today, do what they want us to do today, because of these tactics that they employed upon us back in the day and still use today to control us. That's what fear is, to control us. But we don't even know because we don't even pay attention.
Hey, and
All
then,
right.
and
Go ahead, King.
yeah, I just want to say, like, back in the day, they told Black people that it was against the law to look a white man in his eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now to this day, some of us still make eye contact with the white man. As soon as you look at him, you turn your eyes away from him.
Mm-hmm.
That's to this day.
All right. Read Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 23.
All right. Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse 23. His body shall not remain all night upon the tree, but thou shalt in any wise bury him that day. For he that is hanged is a curse of God, that thy land be not defiled, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance.
So right there in these parentheses, it said, for he that is hanged is accursed of God. He that is hanged is accursed of God. Why are we cursed, brothers and sisters? For constantly breaking the commandments of the Lord. Why is it still going on today in 2025? Because we are cursed of God for not keeping his commandment. What's that brother name that just got hung down there in Mississippi?
I can't remember his name. Man.
Can't think of his name. Let me see if it'll pull up. Not Emmett Till. Trey Reed, is that his name? Yeah. Trey Reed. That's not how you spell this. Yeah, that brother right there. Still being hung in 2025, brothers and sisters. There you go, right there. Young brother was 21. They found him hanging from a tree at Delta, Mississippi, with his arms and his legs broke, and they said it was a suicide. Come on now. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. And the brother you was talking about earlier, Colin Kaepernick actually paid to find out what about the autopsy to get a private or another autopsy done.
Mm-hmm.
Let me blow that up a little bit. It said a family of a 21-year-old black student who was found hanging from a tree on a university campus in Mississippi is demanding answers after his death was ruled a suicide by the state medical examiner. The body of Demetrion Trey Reed was found on Delta State University's campus in Cleveland by police on Monday. His death sparked outrage and allegations about the manner of his death circulated online. And I just want to put out that this brother was found hung during the same time that Charlie Kirk guy was unalive. So this was swept under the bridge or swept under the rug because of Charlie Kirk being the mainstream figure at the time. This brother didn't get no media airtime, just like a lot of our brothers and sisters don't get no airtime. And then when they do, it's maybe for 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But concerning Charlie Kirk, hey, they talked about this man every day for 2 to 3 weeks. Even tried to give him a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
With this brother, they didn't even talk about it on the news. But once again, going back to what we were talking about, this is still going on with our brothers and sisters today. A public spectacle, a fear controlling mechanism. We have to understand what's going on, brothers and sisters. We have to. All right. Now, how does fear keep the Israelites from keeping God's commandments? We fear losing money. We fear rejection, persecution, fear of loss. You know what I'm saying? Give me Matthew chapter 10, verse 28 right quick.
All right.
When we are in fear and we don't realize that is a snare, that is Satan working to keep us away from the Most High. When you fear man, you give control. When you fear the Most High, you gain freedom. Give me Matthew chapter 10, verse 28.
Book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell.
You see that? Go ahead. My bad.
No, that was it.
Fear not them which kill the body. A lot of our brothers and sisters, we fear man. A man gonna die just like the animals, just like the beast. But we fear the man, and who is not able to kill the soul. With Christ, Yahweh is telling us rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Think about that. See, man can only destroy the body, he can't destroy the soul. Yahweh or Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh can destroy your soul, your spirit. Fear the Most High. Don't fear man.
Right.
All right. How do you do these things? You got to remind yourself. That's why the Lord tell us to study to show ourselves approved. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 6. Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 6. Let's see what Moses told Joshua.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 31, verse 6. Be strong and of good courage. Fear not, nor be afraid of them. For the Lord thy God, he is it that doth go with thee. He will not fail thee, nor forsake thee.
You see that? Be strong. I was telling my son the other day, one of the aspects of being a son, being a man, is to be strong. Like we were talking about earlier, in every species, the male is considered to be the strong, the protective entity or being, the strong, the dominant figure.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lord commands us to be strong and of good courage. Fear not. Fear not, nor be afraid of them. Who is the them? These other nations.
Mm-hmm.
The faces of your own people. How they screw their face up because you don't want to do contrary to what the Lord said. He said, be strong. The Lord said, keep my Sabbath. Be strong and keep my Sabbath, regardless of what you got going on or what you think is important. Be strong and of good courage. Fear not, nor be afraid of them. I need you to work on the Sabbath. No. Be strong in the Lord, brothers, and you will be rewarded just like the three holy children. Meshach, Abednego, what the other brother was?
Shadrach and Abednego.
Yeah, Shadrach. Slack. All praise. Be strong and of good courage. Fear not. They wasn't standing up to Nebuchadnezzar all shook and peeing on themselves, tail tucked, bent back. You know, the brother stood boldly, strong, and of good courage. They didn't fear Nebuchadnezzar or what he could possibly do, nor be afraid of them. For the Lord thy God, he is that doeth go with thee. He will not fail thee, nor forsake thee, meaning forget or avoid you. We don't have that mindset as a people. We got to get to that. All right. From there, let's go to let me see where I wanted to go. Another reason why they use fear, because they fear us rising back up, brothers and sisters. Go to let me see. Baruch chapter 2, verse 30, right quick. Even though we don't read, it does not mean that they don't read. They read. They know what's about to happen, what's going on. These other nations know what is going on. We don't read. We don't know. But they read this right here and they understand one thing. This is why they got to create fear tactics to keep us dumb, deaf, and blind. Read that, King.
Baruch chapter 2, verse 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivity shall they, in the land of their captivity, they shall remember themselves.
You see that? The Lord said, we are a stiff-necked, meaning a hard-headed people. But in the land of their captivities, not one, but in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. So wherever we have been scattered as a people for our rebellion, guess what? The Lord put it out there where we're going to wake up in our land of captivities and remember who we are. Read on.
All right. Verse 31. And shall know that I am the Lord their God, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear.
Ears to hear and a heart to receive it, meaning your mind to receive and understand what's going on. In the land of our captivities, read.
And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name.
And think upon his name. We ain't going to just be following behind God. That title. We're going to be thinking on his name because he say, call on my name in your time of distress and tribulation. So we're going to be trying to find his name. Read.
And return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the way of their fathers which sinned before the Lord.
So in the land of our captivities, we're going to wake up and remember who we are and turn from our wicked ways and start to remember the ways of our fathers, which sinned before the Lord. Read.
And I will bring them again into the land which I promised with an oath unto their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be lords of it. And I will increase them, and they shall not be diminished.
See that? That's prophecy right there. Read on.
And I will make an everlasting covenant with them to be their God, and they shall be my people, and I will no more drive my people of Israel out of the land that I have given them.
You see that? That's one of the reasons why these other nations and these governments use fear as a tactic to control us, brothers and sisters. They use fear to tell us, hey, forget the laws of God. They use tactics by using your pastors and your deacons to tell you that the laws of God are done away with. They use these wicked ass movies to tell you that God's chosen people look like what you call them, brother? Chicken, raw chicken.
Raw chicken.
You know, they use all these different tactics to keep us dumb, deaf, and blind, to turn us away from the Lord. Fear tactics, as we already discussed earlier. Why? Because they know that their end is soon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, give me Isaiah chapter 60 and 12. Isaiah 60 and 12.
$60 and $12.
Yes, sir.
Right. Isaiah chapter 60, verse 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted.
Let me see. Let me see. Start at verse 10.
Yes, sir. Verse 10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee.
So the strangers of these other nations gonna build up the walls of the kingdom. Read.
Yes, sir. Therefore thy gate shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles and their kings may be brought.
The same way how we left out of Egypt with all our riches, same thing gonna happen. The gates of our land's gonna be open, where the Gentiles gonna bring their wealth to us. Read.
For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted.
Future prophecy, brothers and sisters. This ain't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
This has not happened yet. Understand it. So this is something that they can read in the scriptures and understand. They like, oh, hell no. Nah. We trying to stay in rulership. We trying to keep our wealth right now. We got to keep them on the bottom. We got to keep them dumbed down where they don't know who the hell they are. We got to have them trust in us rather than the Lord. We got to turn them away from reading the Bible rather than pushing them toward it. We got to show them how to hate one another rather than love one another. Use fear to do all of these things. Controlling mechanism. All right.
Everything that we supposed to be doing according to the Bible, they're gonna try to make us do the opposite.
Exactly.
As long as we do the opposite, like you said, the longer we do what we're not supposed to be doing, the more they will stay in rulership.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna
Let me
push.
get one more. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 9. Second Ezra in the Apocrypha, chapter 6, verse 9.
2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world.
Start at verse 8, King Salaki.
No problem. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. Verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows.
You see that? Esau is who is running this world right now. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who's running the world? Esau, so-called white man. They put laws in place. They run the economy. They run the militaries. They are in control right now. But the prophecy says Esau is the end of the world. And Jacob, meaning Israel, is the beginning of it that followeth, meaning the kingdom. Rulership after Esau will be us. They don't want that. They fear that because the prophecy also says that Esau will be put to death. That there will be none remaining of the house of Esau.
That's right.
See that? They don't want that. So their job is to do what? Cause confusion, spread lies, and dress them up as truth. That's what Esau gonna do. Spread lies and create more fear in the earth. You know? So how do we overcome fear? We gotta study daily, study the words of the Lord. Because when we study, we understand what's going on and how to deal with it. We gotta surround ourselves with like-minded individuals. As the scriptures say, iron sharpens iron. We gotta obey, regardless of how we feel or regardless of the level of fear that's at hand. We gotta obey, because courage comes through obedience, just like protection comes through obedience. And we gotta replace fear with faith. Speak the scriptures, speak the oracles, as it says in Peter. Give me Sirach chapter 2 right quick. Speak the oracles. Study to show thyself approved. The book of Sirach, chapter 2. Let me see. Let's start at verse 4. We could actually start at 1, but let's start at 1.
All right. Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 1. My son, if thou comest to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation.
He
Set thy
said, prepare, it's coming. Temptation is coming. So you got to get your mind right. Read.
Set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble.
He said, and constantly endure. Get your mind right, constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Don't make rash decisions based on how you feel. That's one of my sayings. Hey, get out your feelings. Make not haste in time of trouble. Read.
Verse 3, cleave unto him, and depart not away, that thou may be increased at thy last end.
Cleave unto him. That's what Meshach, Abednego, what the other brother name was?
Uh,
Shadrach.
yeah, Shadrach.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. That's what they did. They cleaved unto the Lord. They did not depart away. That thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Them brothers got promoted
Mhm.
in the land of their captivity. The brother Job, he went through all types of hell that a lot of us can't even imagine. He
Mhm.
lost everything, but he still claved unto the Lord, and he was increased at the end. Read on.
All right. Verse 4, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate.
Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully. Find the good in it. Stop thinking that the world owe you something, that the world is out to get you. It should be if you ain't doing thus saith the Lord. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully. Where's the lesson in what happened? Did you learn from your mistakes? Did you learn from that experience? Did you gain any wisdom? And be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. You might have had a good job. Now you at a mediocre job or a less than nothing job. Take that cheerfully. Read.
Verse 5, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity.
For gold is tried in the fire. That's what Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were. Men, acceptable men. They were that gold that was being tried in that furnace.
Mhm.
What did they do? Verse 6.
Verse 6, believe in him, and he will help thee. Order
And
thou
what?
believe in him, and he will help thee.
Ain't no he might. It said believe in him and he will help thee. Read.
Order thy way aright, and trust in him.
Just like it say in Proverbs 3 and 5. Lean not on your own understanding, but trust in the Lord with all thy might. Read.
Verse 7, ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall.
Except ye fall. Go not aside. Don't go do your own thing just because it feel good. It seem right. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy. Wait on the Lord. Read.
Verse 8, ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail.
Shall not fail. Read.
All right. Verse 9, ye that fear the Lord, hope for good, and for everlasting joy and mercy.
Read.
All right. Verse 10, look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him?
See that? Did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded or forsaken?
Mhm.
Did he ever despise him that called upon him? That's what the scriptures is for. That's what it says. Look at the generations of old. Go back and read through the testimonies and understand how you can fix the problems in your life, how you can avoid the problems and mistakes in your life. And did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? We supposed to fear the Lord. Point blank, period. That's it. That's it. And when we do those things, we're going to forsake evil and rejoice.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom exists after repentance when we turn to the Lord. Understand that. Let's see. I think this will be my last. You know what? I meant to bring one out earlier. Go to Sirach 41. I meant to bring this out when it was going into dealing with the brazen bull and the different scare tactics that they use on our people and still use today.
Mm.
When it comes down to fear of death. Read that, King.
Book of Sirach, chapter 41, verse 3. Fear not the sentence of death. Remember them that have been before thee, and that come after. For this is the sentence of the Lord over all flesh.
So death, everybody gonna die. So don't fear that. Don't fear that. Remember them that have been before thee and the ones that's gonna come after you. Leave that long-lasting legacy behind. A good name behind. There's plenty of testimonies and examples throughout the scriptures to show us how we must be, how we got to stand 10 toes down and not be distracted and be weak by tuning in to what's on the phone, what's on the app, what kind of video game we playing, what's on the TV. Fear not the sentence of death. Remember them that have been before thee and that come after thee. Brothers and sisters, fear the Lord. Understand what's going on in this world. These other nations, they fear who we are. They fear us waking up. And they're going to use fear to detour us from keeping the commandments of the Lord, from waking up to walking in a righteous manner. Their job is not to help us. So while we loving them and trying to support them and trying to fight for them, they will never fight for us. They're not going to tell us what we need to be doing. They're not going to help us get there neither. So at the end of the day, we got to wake the hell up, brothers and sisters, because our salvation is near. And it ain't going to get no easier as time goes on. So we got to remember that fear is not an emotion, but a way to control. And what's that other one I had? When you fear man, you give him control. When you fear God, you gain freedom. I had 2 other videos I meant to play. Be playing for I get out of here. Where is it?
Being afraid of something is a problem because fear is a controller. And what you fear controls you. And that's why God desires for us to only fear him, because he is the only one that deserves control. Am I going too fast? Here's why you being afraid of something is a problem. Because fear is a controller. And what you fear controls you. And that's why God desires for us to only fear him, because he is the only one that deserves control.
That's right. Got one more. I meant to play these earlier, but it is what it is. Where is it? There we go.
Attack him. Come on, attack. Got it open. Engage. If you don't, the enemy comes again. He has no mercy. Get up. You gotta get over it. Attack. There you go. Look at me. It's a fear. I gotta get it out of you, because not you're gonna always be angry at the wrong people. We're trying to help you, and you're angry at us. We can't let you hold it. Good. Now relax, take it. There you go. Get up, come on. Attack. Come on. Good. Now do me. Come on. Come in strong. That's what I need, strength. Look, take me strong, yeah. We know why you angry, but you got to use that on the right people, not us. We love you. You got it? You got it. There you go.
You see that? He told that young brother, you got anger inside, but you're using it on the wrong people. A lot of our brothers and sisters are using that anger toward one another and not toward the enemy. We supposed to love one another. This is what we must teach the young men and the young sisters. Get that anger, get that fear out of you. Love your brothers and sisters. Love the Lord.
Look at me. And I ain't gonna hurt you. I want you to respect me because you care about me, not because you're scared of me. You got it? All right. Be a teacher. Come on, attack him. Come on.
All praise to the Most High. Got to get that fear out of us, brothers and sisters. Only fear we need is the fear of the Lord. Fear is judgments. Don't fear man that can only kill the body, but fear the Lord that can kill body and soul in hell. Don't fear not being able to be perfect to somebody. That ain't what life is about. That's not the whole duty of man. You're not supposed to be here trying to please nobody. Your whole job, our job, is to keep the commandments of the Lord and fear him and have faith in him. You got anything you want to add, King?
Yeah, I just want to say, like you said, we shouldn't have fear. Only fear we need is the fear of what could happen if we don't keep the Most High commandment. That's the only kind of fear we supposed to have. Fear in the Most High. That's it.
That's right. But on that note, I'm Brother Ananias.
Brother Ezekiel.
We are A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. Lord willing, you brothers and sisters gain some type of knowledge tonight from this class. And you can put away or tuck that fear away, get rid of that spirit, and continue to be strong and of good courage, to be thou strong at all times, fearing the Lord. But on that note, we say shalom, shalom, peace and greetings to you all, and we out.
Well.